The king just revealed something that nobody saw coming. Triple H, the man who controls the throne of WWE, just made a statement about Seth Rollins that has absolutely nothing to do with championships, matches, or rivalries. This cuts deeper. This is about family. This is about fatherhood. This is about a man standing at the crossroads between being a warrior in the ring and being present for the most important moment of his life. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are expecting again, and what Triple H just said about it has sent shockwaves through the entire wrestling community. Before this video ends, you're going to understand why this changes everything for Seth's career, why the timing couldn't be more complicated, and why what's coming next will force the visionary to make an impossible choice. Stay with me through every single word, because the revelation at the end, it's going to hit you harder than you expect. But before we dive in, I need to ask you something from the heart. If you're someone who understands that wrestling isn't just about what happens in the ring, that it's about real people with real lives, real families, real struggles, then I need you here with me. Subscribe to SLAMZONE and hit that notification bell, because we don't just talk about wrestling here. We talk about the humanity behind it, the sacrifices, the choices, the moments that define who these people really are. When you join this family, you're saying that you care about the whole story, not just the part you see on TV. So do me this favor, hit subscribe, turn on those notifications, and let's walk this journey together. Because what we're about to explore, it's beautiful, it's complicated, and it's heartbreakingly real. Now let's get into this. Triple H sat down recently, and when the conversation turned to Seth Rollins, something unexpected happened. Instead of talking about WrestleMania plans or championship opportunities, the game brought up something far more personal. He acknowledged that Seth and Becky Lynch, two of the biggest stars in WWE history, are about to welcome their second child. And then he said something that sent chills through everyone listening. He talked about the weight of that moment, the responsibility, the sacrifice. And then, in his own way, he questioned whether Seth can truly be present for both worlds, whether the visionary can be the father his family needs while still being the performer WWE demands. Think about the gravity of those words for just a moment. This isn't criticism. This isn't a burial. This is something far more profound. This is Triple H himself, a father, himself someone who has had to balance the brutal demands of this business with the sacred responsibility of family, acknowledging out loud what every wrestler with children has to face. You cannot be in two places at once. You cannot be at home for the 3 a.m. feedings and also be on the road 300 days a year. You cannot be present for your child's first words and also be cutting promos and taking bumps and traveling city to city, living out of a suitcase. Seth Rollins is about to become a father for the second time. His wife, Becky Lynch, the man, one of the most iconic wrestlers of this generation, is pregnant, and both of them know exactly what this means. They've been through it before with their first child. They know the sleepless nights. They know the guilt of missing moments. They know what it feels like to choose between the job you love and the people you love even more. But here's the difference this time: the stakes are higher. Seth is at a point in his career where he should be reaching for that main event spot, where he should be building toward WrestleMania, where he should be cementing his legacy. And instead, he's about to be changing diapers and doing midnight bottle runs and being present for his wife during one of the most vulnerable times of her life. And Triple H knows this creates a problem. Not because he's heartless, not because he doesn't care, but because WWE is a machine that doesn't stop. It doesn't slow down for anyone. WrestleMania is coming, the biggest show of the year. The moment where careers are made and legends are born. And if Seth Rollins isn't fully committed, if his mind is at home with his newborn baby instead of focused on the match, the storyline, the performance, then what does that mean for his position in the company? You can feel the tension in that question, can't you? Because there's no right answer. There's no way to win here. If Seth chooses his family, if he steps back from the grind to be the father and husband he wants to be, then he risks losing his spot. He risks being passed by the younger, hungrier guys who don't have those responsibilities yet. Who can give everything to the business because they don't have a pregnant wife at home? Who can take every booking, every overseas tour, every last-minute creative change without hesitation? But if Seth chooses the business, if he stays on the road, if he keeps pushing for that top spot, if he sacrifices family time for career advancement, then what kind of father is he? What kind of husband? What kind of man? This is the impossible choice that wrestlers face. The choice that fans don't always see. The choice that destroys marriages, that creates distance between parents and children, that leaves scars that never fully heal. And Triple H, by bringing this up publicly, has essentially put Seth Rollins in the spotlight and said, "We're watching, we're paying attention, and your next move will tell us everything we need to know about who you are." Now, let me take you deeper into why this matters so much right now. Seth Rollins has been wrestling at the highest level for over a decade. He's done everything there is to do in this business. WWE Champion, Universal Champion, Royal Rumble winner, WrestleMania main eventer. The man has bled and sweated and sacrificed his body in ways most people can't imagine. Multiple knee injuries, a broken back, countless concussions. He has given everything to this industry. And for what? 4 moments. For glory. For the roar of the crowd and the feeling of standing at the top of the mountain. But now he's about to experience something that makes all of that seem small by comparison. He's about to hold his newborn child in his arms. He's about to watch his wife go through the miracle and the trauma of childbirth. He's about to understand that there are things more important than championships, more important than WrestleMania, more important than any match or promo or storyline could ever be. And once you experience that, once you truly understand what matters, everything changes. Becky Lynch knows this better than anyone. She stepped away from wrestling at the height of her career when she was pregnant with their first child. She was Raw Women's Champion, the biggest star in the entire company, and she gave it all up without hesitation because she knew what mattered more. She chose her family. She chose her child. And yes, she came back. Yes, she reclaimed her spot at the top. But she came back different. She came back as a mother first and a wrestler second. And you can see it in her eyes, in her interviews, in the way she talks about her career now. The priorities shifted. The hunger is still there, but it's tempered by the knowledge that there's a little person at home who needs her more than the WWE Universe does. And now Seth is about to go through that same transformation. The question is he ready for it? Can he handle being a present father while still competing at the level WWE demands? Or will he try to do both and end up failing at one or the other? Here's what makes Triple H's comments so devastating. He's seen this movie before. He watched John Cena sacrifice relationships for his career. He watched The Rock miss years of his daughter's childhood while he was building his wrestling empire. He watched countless wrestlers, including himself at times, choose the business over their families and then live with the regret. And now he's looking at Seth Rollins, seeing history about to repeat itself, and he's essentially warning him, you can't have both. Not really. Not at the level you want. Something has to give. And that's terrifying. That's the nightmare scenario for any performer who loves what they do but also loves their family. Because the business will always demand more. There will always be another town, another show, another opportunity that you can't miss. The machine doesn't care that your wife just gave birth. It doesn't care that your baby needs you. It cares about ratings and ticket sales and WrestleMania moments. And if you can't deliver those things, well, there's a line of people behind you who will. Before we go any further, I need you to do something for me. If this is hitting you in the heart, if you're feeling the weight of what we're talking about here, hit that like button right now. Because this isn't just wrestling content. This is life. This is the real stuff that matters. And when you like this video, when you leave a comment telling me your thoughts on how Seth should handle this, when you share this with someone who needs to hear it, you're saying that these stories matter. That the humanity behind the performance is what makes wrestling beautiful. So take a second. Hit that like button. Drop a comment below telling me, if you were Seth Rollins, what would you choose? Career or family? And is it even possible to have both? I want to hear from you because this is a conversation we all need to have. Now let's talk about what this means for Becky Lynch. Because she's not just Seth's wife. She's not just the mother of his children. She's one of the biggest stars in wrestling history. The man. The woman who main event WrestleMania and made it feel like anything was possible for women in this business. And now she's pregnant again, stepping away from the spotlight again, watching her career pause while Seth's continues. And you have to wonder, how does that feel? Is there resentment? Is there understanding? Is there a quiet agreement between them that they'll take turns, that when one is home the other can chase their dreams? The reality is probably more complicated than any of us can imagine, because these are two incredibly driven, ambitious people who have both reached the very top of their profession, and now they're being asked to slow down, to prioritize differently, to accept that maybe their best years as performers are behind them because their best years as parents are just beginning. That's a bitter pill to swallow, even when you know it's the right thing to do. And here's where Triple H's words become even more pointed. He's essentially saying that Seth needs to make a choice. Not explicitly, not cruelly, but the implication is there. If you want to be a main event player, if you want to be in the WrestleMania spotlight, if you want to carry this company into the future, then you need to be all in. You need to be available. You need to be focused. And if you can't do that because you're at home being a father, well, we understand. We respect that. But we're going to find someone else who can give us what we need. That's the business. That's the harsh, unforgiving reality of working at the highest level of any industry. Your personal life is always in conflict with your professional ambitions. And wrestling? Wrestling might be the worst of all because it never stops. There's no off-season. There's no break. There's just the constant grind, week after week, month after month, year after year. Until your body breaks down or your spirit gives out, where you finally decide that you've had enough and there are more important things in life. Seth Rollins is 39 years old. He's not young anymore by wrestling standards. His body has taken tremendous damage. His best years might already be behind him. And now, with a second child on the way, he has to look at the calendar and do the math. How many years does he have left? 5? 3? 1? And how does he want to spend those years? Chasing one more championship reign? Or being present for his children's childhood, which he'll never get back? Triple H knows the answer to that question. He lived it. He missed things with his own daughters while he was traveling the world, building his legacy. And now that he's on the other side of it, now that his daughters are grown and he's in the corporate role, he can look back and see all the moments he missed. All the recitals and soccer games and bedtime stories that he sacrificed for one more match, one more angle, one more title reign. And while he doesn't regret his career, you can see in his eyes that he wonders, was it worth it? Could I have found a better balance? Should I have chosen differently? And that's what he's really saying to Seth Rollins. He's saying, learn from my mistakes. Don't wait until it's too late to realize what matters. Don't sacrifice your family for this business because the business doesn't love you back. The crowd forgets. The championships get passed to someone else. The WrestleMania moments fade into history. But your children? They only have one childhood, and if you miss it, you can never get it back. This is SLAMZONE, and this is why we do what we do here. Because wrestling is beautiful, but it's also brutal. Because the performers we love are real people with real struggles. Because sometimes the most important story isn't about who wins the title, it's about who makes the choice to be a better father, a better husband, a better human being. If you're not subscribed to this channel yet, I'm asking you from the heart to join us. We dig deeper than the surface. We talk about the things that matter. We build a community of people who understand that wrestling is about more than wins and losses. So hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and become part of the SLAMZONE family. Because we're in this together, and we're not going anywhere. The king has spoken. He's put the choice in front of Seth Rollins for everyone to see. And now, as Becky's pregnancy progresses, as the due date approaches, as WrestleMania season kicks into high gear, we're all going to watch and see what the visionary chooses. Will he choose the ring? Or will he choose the nursery? Will he choose his legacy? Or will he choose his family? And here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud: there's no wrong answer. Whatever Seth decides, we should support him, because he's earned that. He's given us everything for over a decade. And if he decides that it's time to step back, to be present for his children, to support his wife, to choose love over glory, then that doesn't make him weak. That makes him human. That makes him wise. That makes him a man who understands what really matters in this life. The king has spoken about the visionary and his growing family. And what comes next will define Seth Rollins not just as a performer, but as a person. Stay with us here at SLAMZONE because we'll be following every step of this journey. And trust me, what happens next will touch your heart in ways you never expected.